Well, to the Addison Township Board meeting. Today's August 15th, and it's 6 o'clock. If we can all stand for the pledge, please. And who do we have as a veteran here? Joel, are you a veteran? Could you please
21
start?
years active duty. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please stay standing. Dear Lord, now guide us tonight with your wisdom. And thank you for bringing us all together in this board meeting. In the Lord's name we pray, amen.
Addison.
Here.
Linegar. Present. And Brightfield.
Here.
John Beamer.
Present.
Warren Fisher. Here. Bennett present. Supervisor Pearson.
Hey, any announcements? No. Any petitions? No petitions. Department reports, as usual, are available in my office. You can contact myself or my deputy, Sherry Benz, make them available. Approval of the agenda.
Now go ahead and make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
I'll support.
Any conversations?
One comment.
Yes.
I'm trying to flip through it. There was, just seemed like something I didn't know why it was in there. It just seemed like an out of place page. We'll get to it later.
Is there something you wanted to add or something?
No, it's just something that's in there and I wanted to, if it was added, I just wanted to know what it was before we talk about it. But we'll get to it. It's not, it's a minor thing.
Well, we don't have any other questions. Go ahead and call on that, please.
Yes. Everett.
Yes.
Linegar.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Warren Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Move on to consent agenda.
Yes, it's a brief consent agenda this month, consisting of the June minutes and bills as paid for June and July.
Okay, any comments? Any motions?
I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Support.
Any other comments? Then we'll go on that, please.
Yes. John Beamer.
Aye.
Linegar.
Yes.
Warren Fisher.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, passes. We'll move on to item number 2, which is the special assessment districts, the public hearing. We'll go on to 2A, which is the SAD for the Lakeview Drive, Grampian Court, and Kennard private roads. This is the second and final public hearing to establish an SAD for Lakeview Drive, Grampian Court, and Kennard private roads in Addison. The township received petitions requesting from the residents to establish an SAD. The petition was signed by more than 50% of the record owners, constituting more than 50% of the total frontage of the proposed SAD located within the township, requesting the amount of $100 per parcel for each of the next 5 years to cover maintenance or improvements, and a 5% collection fee for the township. Proper notice for the second public hearing was published, and a notice for the hearing mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed SAD. I'd like to open up the public hearing. This is a public hearing, and hear from the public. And we'll say that this is at 6:05 p.m. If anybody has anything to say on this SAD, please come forward, state your name, and we'd like to hear it. Anybody has anything to say on this SAD?
Are you talking about all the roads? I'm sorry, you're kind of soft-spoken and I can't hear you from there.
This is the SAD.
For all the roads?
This is for the roads for Lakeview Drive, Grampian Court, and Kennard private roads.
Well, I'm just here to say that I'm just here to represent Millstand Road and everything.
Oh, that would be, you have another one.
Okay,
right
thank
after. Yours is separate, no problem.
Okay.
Okay. Not hearing anything else, I'd like to close the meeting at 6:06. Again, this is the final public hearing. By moving this resolution forward, we are establishing the SAD. Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to move a resolution to establish a special assessment district for Lakeview Drive, Grampian Court, and Kennard private roads.
Second.
Any discussion? Not hearing any. Could we have a roll call on that, please?
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, that resolution is so moved. Now we'll move on to SAD 2D, which is for the Lake District known as Indian Lake. This is a second and final public hearing to establish an SAD for the Lake District known as Indian Lake. The township received petitions from the residents requesting the township to establish an SAD. The SAD district is established by the comprised parcels in the land area as listed on the petition. The petition as received from the requesting resident also defines the riparian and non-riparian parcels. The Indian Lake SAD is for the purpose of improvements, maintaining the existing dam, dike, and the control of aquatic weeds, plants, etc. We received petitions signed by more than 50% of the record property owners and constituting more than 50% of the total land area of the proposed SAD. The proposed collection rate is $155 per riparian parcel and $50 per non-riparian parcel as defined by the petitioners for a period of 5 years, including a 5% yearly township administrative fee. Proper notice of the hearing was published and a notice was mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the SAD. At this time, I'd like to open up the public hearing for this SAD at 6:07 p.m. If anybody has anything to state about this SAD, please come forward up to the podium. If anybody has anything to say about this SAD, please come forward. Not hearing any, I'd like to close the meeting at 6:08 p.m. Again, this is the final public hearing by moving this resolution forward, establishing the SAD. Is there a motion?
I would make a motion to move the resolution to establish a special assessment district, Lake District for Indian Lake.
I'll second that motion.
Any further conversations? Not hearing any, could we have a roll call on that, please?
Yes. Erickson.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that resolution is so moved. Now we'll move on to the third SAD for Mill Stand, a private road. This is the second and final public hearing to establish an SAD for Mill Stand, a private road in Addison. The township received petitions requesting from the residents to establish an SAD. The petition was signed by more than 50% of the record owners, constituting more than 50% of the total frontage of the proposed SAD located within the township. And they are requesting the amount of $125 per parcel for each of the next 5 years to cover grading, gravel, dust control, snow removal, and a 5% collection fee for the township. Proper notice for the second public hearing was published, and a notice for the hearing mailed by first-class mail to each property owner within the proposed SAD. At this time, I'd like to open up this hearing at 6:09 p.m. If anybody has anything to state on the Mill Stand one, please come forward and we'd like to hear.
I'm just gonna say I'm Donna Fox, I'm the resident, one of the residents on the road who takes care of it, and just wanted to thank you for letting us renew this so we can maintain the road.
Thank you.
Okay.
Does anybody else have anything on this SAD on Mill Stand? Anyone else? Well, then at this time, I'd like to close the hearing at 6:10 p.m. Again, this is the final public hearing, and by moving the resolution, we are establishing the SAD. Do we have any motions?
I'll make that motion to move the special assessment district for Mill Stand.
Second.
And we have a second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any, could I have a roll call on that, please?
John Beamer.
Aye.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, that resolution is so moved, so those all passed. Okay. Now we'll move on to item number 3, draft revisions for the ordinance Article 5, Finance and Resolution. We inserted the changes that the board requested within the ordinance. They're highlighted. Also, the resolution adopted in this order includes steps that the purchasing agent shall take, including reporting to the board. Okay. Now, this is open for discussion. If anybody would like to discuss this, or give me your input on it. Anybody have any input?
I just comment, I thought we had a lot of good substantive discussion last time, and having read the amendments to the document, I think they're all in line with my recollection of what we discussed, so thank you.
Yeah, I agree.
If there's no further discussion, I will go ahead and make a motion that we move this forward and adopt this change. We need a little better language there, adopt ordinance, Article 5, Finance.
We can't adopt
And resolution.
just yet. We have to do a public notice and a public hearing. So I think I was just bringing it back to the board to make sure everybody was on the same page, and then maybe a motion to authorize and advertise for a public hearing if everybody's on that same page. That would be good.
I would make that motion, so move to advertise this for public notice.
I'll support John's motion.
Okay, so we have a motion to set this for a public hearing, and we have a second. Any further discussion?
I'll second that.
We got a third. Okay,
We have a third.
looking for a fourth.
I'll do it.
Okay.
We're all on board.
Okay. This one, I'd like to call on also, please.
I say no.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. Okay, move on to item number 4, rezoning resolution. Rezoning request of Addison Township rezone a 2.3 acre parcel of 0503 300 001 from suburban farm residential zoning district to P1 public institutional zoning district. Property is located on the east side of Haven Road, and the applicant is Addison Township. The board approved the purchase of the property adjoining the park, and the purchasing ordinance rezoning was the final directive from the board. Okay, this completes our intention to add the property to the park system. The planning commission reviewed, held a public hearing, and recommended approval of the rezoning. Does the board have any questions on this? This is to add that acquisition to the park so it becomes part of the recreational park.
Just for the record, the planning commission did follow the ordinances to the letter. Rand walked us through line by line of it. We all agreed, and so with that, rest assured, the planning commission unanimously approved.
Okay. Anybody else on the board have any questions?
This is just a housekeeping matter.
Yes, it's to rezone the property.
I would move the resolution adopting and amending ordinance
We
6.
have one gentleman, Mr. Koski.
I have a question.
Yes.
Does the board have the authority to purchase property? At the annual meeting, the citizens at large can approve the purchase or sale of township property. I don't know if the board has the authority to buy it without the annual meeting, and you no longer have an annual meeting, which is something else that I should speak on tonight.
The board does have the right to purchase property. Okay, does anybody else have any comments?
No, we have a motion. Is there a
A
second?
motion and a second. Can we have a roll call on that, please?
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Aye.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Lori Fisher.
Yes.
Erickson.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Item number 5. This is the senior citizen expenditure up to $15,000, which is $5,000 in reallocation for the purpose of increasing the senior activities from account 101-103-884-002. With the retirement of 2 of our board members here, I think this is going to be one of the last big things here that we're going to be discussing. That I think is really going to benefit the township. What we have here tonight is a proposal to try to grow our senior citizen community participation. It's dwindled down to 2 or 3 participants a day. On occasion, attendance might be 5 or 6. The Older Persons Commission pulled the plug on the salaried employee that we had here. I think there's a need for our senior citizens to feel a part of the community and diversify in Addison. Many are still very active and want to attend the OPC. Others would like to have our community center here in Addison Township grow also. before you are some proposals to try to grow the participation by providing both. In 1 year, we will evaluate where we stand. You can see that there are several options here. One was, is there a motion to approve, expenditures up to, for OPC, up to $5,000, which means that we would help the seniors go down to the Older Persons Commission, and we would help with some of that expenditure. The other was also hiring a part-time senior planner that would conduct some programs here for our seniors so they could come in during the day and have some activities. And that we'd also set up a little bit of funding so they could buy some material here at the seniors center. I'll leave this open for discussion.
I've got one issue. Obviously, we all know that the OPC does not recognize Addison Township as part of the OPC, which means Addison is paying a premium for its citizens to go down there. Everybody from Oakland Township, Rochester, that area, get the OPC much discount price. Did take it up with their young lady who's in charge, and obviously it's not as easy as I would thought it would be just to add our name to it. It has to go through a lot of votes, and but before, just keep in mind, OPC is charging Addison a little bit, not a little bit, much more than they are the other residents of Oakland Township and Rochester. Are they willing to help us out with that membership?
The one thing you have to understand is the other communities also pay a millage to
That is
OPC, and that they contribute into it. We do not pay a millage into OPC, but with our talks with them, they're willing to let our seniors go down there, and it's $175 a year per senior, or I think it's $250 for a couple. And what we're proposing is that we would help out with some of that expenditure. If it was $175, we were looking at that if the money held out, that we would pay $100 of that. So that our seniors could go down there, and we would arrange for a bus up here from our NODA transportation, the senior busing, a few days a week to take them down, or they can drive down at their leisure, but that's for a whole year. I think that's pretty good, being that we do not have a millage or contribute to the OPC. But they already have one, so, why should we try to invent another one when they have the swimming pools, all the facilities, and the restaurant there, everything, and a lot of our seniors already go there. That
I
was
did
the
ask.
thing.
And now I'm going to flip it just a little bit. Has anybody gone down there other than us? I don't know. Has anybody seen the OPC? It's an absolutely outstanding place. If you're 62 years old, I know you don't think yourself as a senior, but they're letting us in. It used to be called Old People's Thing.
Older Persons.
Now they call it something different, but it's not old persons anymore. But if you're 62 years old, you can go down there and enjoy it. And Bruce is right, the pools are heated. They do have one mammoth jacuzzi pool. They've got the volleyball, they got the basketball, they got the tournaments going on, they have the weight room, they have exercise for your physical therapy. They have 2 restaurants. They have 1 restaurant and 1 snack bar. It just goes on. And they have theaters, not movies theaters, they have plays they put on. So it's really an outstanding thing. It's worth the money to go. I just wanted to point out that there's a flip side to it as well.
I would like to see us participate with the 2 programs that we're proposing, only because we do have a new community center. It's beautiful. I would like to see if by hiring an employee, we can grow it. And then at the same time, we're going to bring this back in a year to reevaluate. Let's see where the seniors want to go. Do they want to go to OPC? Or if we started having events here, would they come here? And I think the only way to make that determination is to go ahead and go with what's in front of us with the 2 proposals, and let's just see, reevaluate it in a year.
I guess I have to comment if you've got
Yes, sir.
supervisor. All these are good comments. I believe, and certainly the seniors are valued citizens in our community. And it's nice that these thoughts go out. I guess in my mind, I question a few things though, and one of those is, I guess, gets back to individual rights versus group rights. And what are we doing for the little boys and girls between 8 and 12? And why are we doing something different here? We could make something up and certainly have a lot of discussion on that point. But again, the point is individual rights versus group rights, and where do we as a township government, step in and do that? Personally, I don't think it's necessarily township's government to do that. This township, as well as adjoining townships, had a millage put in front of them a few years ago, and for whatever reason, they voted that down, and that was the adoption of a village to pay for the senior center. So the preponderance of people overall in the three communities voted that down. That's a voice that I think we should hear and recognize today, and not necessarily override by township government when the vote of the people have said we aren't so keen on that at this time. So I think it's something we should consider. In that the other point that was already brought up, and I think that's that the reason that people from Oxford or Addison here may have to pay is because they don't pay like the other citizens that do go down to the, because they're covered by a millage that, again, the people voted in down in Rochester to pay to the OPC, right? We didn't up here, so it's understandable on an individual level that you might have to pay for that. Again, I don't think it's the township's right to override something that I think the people of the township should vote on, because in a sense we're adopting, even though it's for a short period of time, a tax. And I just think that's how it should work. I think that's how the government's laid out. I think I'm done with my comments. Thank you.
Okay, I got a question. The vote that you're alluding to,
The what?
the vote that we had, that he's alluding to have a senior activity center built here, right? That's what that
It
vote
was
was
built,
about.
it was built somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere, and then we would participate. Right, okay. But that was building a center somewhere else, and it was a larger expense.
It was an expense, is the operative word.
Okay, that's what it
in my
is.
mind,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, but, I'm
A little lot.
yeah, well, but I guess my point is this kind of is, I think it's different, I guess my opinion, if we're having a discussion here. Being a senior citizen and having a 100-year-old father that goes to OPC every day, and he really enjoys it. I think it's a good thing to have in this general community, and if we can open the door for seniors to participate, I think it's a great thing. That's my opinion. I'm probably a little too close to the OPC from family reasons. It's a great place, and if you can make it affordable for people in this community, I think it's good. To build one, I would disagree. Okay, to build one out here, there's no need for that. No need to reinvent it here.
Well, my mother is only 99 and 4 months, so I could bless her.
My dad's got a girlfriend already, so we're all set.
Okay. But what I'm trying to say is we're trying to bring our seniors here. I am also doing stuff for the kids too. We're looking at putting a new baseball field in here. We're trying to get a sledding hill and a skating rink and different things. So we're trying to get everybody involved in making this a community center and bringing people into this location so that everybody can enjoy it. So the seniors, though, they're a special group, and I think every society should take care of their seniors and provide something for them so that they're not homebound all the time. And that's all we're trying to do, is to get them a ride up here so they can have their puzzles or their bingo or card playing or whatever. And we've always contributed something to the seniors to get them up here. So we're just trying to reallocate it and see if we can do even better. But That's just my opinion. Anybody else have anything?
I was gonna say we spend almost as much money on cemetery maintenance, and who enjoys that? So, and, you know, between the money that we spend on safety paths and the parks, I think this is a reasonable amount to spend, and I agree too that the senior center, building it, we would not be able to operate it with this amount of money. So I think this is well spent. We've had a lot of new faces in lately, people inquiring about what we're offering. And we did have a few events in July that we saw some new faces and a lot of interest. So I'm hoping that offering some more programs that they're well used.
Anybody else have any comments?
I have a question. Can we consider doing two things? One, to do the temporary hiring to grow the business or the activity here, and also support this OPC?
That's what's being proposed.
That's
Okay, that's, so I'll make sure I understand.
And that's why
For both.
we needed the expenditure up to 15,000.
Okay, so I'll make sure I understand. Okay.
And it was pretty well split in the meeting that we held of who wanted to do OPC and who wanted to do the meetings here. So there wasn't a consensus one way or the other.
You'd be surprised how many seniors are now starting to come up once they realize that there's going to be some activities here. We already did have a group up here, and there is a need for it.
None of the seniors wanted to step forward and do any planning, they just,
I
They
asked them
came
that,
back and
and they
said,
said it was
we
just,
can't
it would be
plan.
too overwhelming. Because I was trying to get the seniors to say that they'll take a month, and they said it's just too overwhelming. And I think the only way to grow it is to have somebody responsible for it. Otherwise, it's just going to be by chance. And that's why I'm putting in here temporary. So if it doesn't grow, we have to bring it back to the board, and the board has to decide, okay, we're just going to have a community center. I'm thinking that they're going to be able to grow it though. If that's what they're hired to do, is to grow it, I think that they can do so.
They need a cheerleader. They need somebody to get the things going. You gotta have somebody that, you go to a karaoke party, not everybody can sing. You gotta have that one person up there that can get the crowd going, so.
I think finding the right person to develop the senior programs would be an amazing person, and I've seen them grow. And I think I definitely want to support everything we can do to bring this township together as a community, developing the township, I'm going to call it the complex, and bringing the kids in, the seniors in, and I would like to support funding for this community development program. As it's written here, the OPC up to 5,000, and that would be a part-time senior planner, $11.02 per hour, $165.30 per week, $85.95.60 per year. I'm reading all this. Senior community funding per month. Are these two options, or is this just a total at under 15,000?
It's going to be the total under 15,000. I think in order for the person to start the senior center, they're going to have some feed money. Eventually, they should start charging the seniors, and then the feed money should dwindle. At one point in time, our seniors did have a kitty, so eventually they're going to have their kitty again, but right now there's nothing. They need that in order to grow it.
Would this person be able to join like Bruce Township? I know they have a lot of senior bus tours or programs that they can bring it over here and notice, hey, we can all go over here and pick up the bus to the casino or...
Well, we're going to hire somebody, and hopefully she's going to get them out and about. I mean, that would be the goal. I'm also thinking that how it's worded, part-time senior planners, maybe somebody doesn't want to do 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. So maybe we're going to have 2, and they could be a team or something. But as long as the expenditure stays under this amount, I think we'll be okay. And if they want to do every single day, great. But I think that she can really grow it. There's a lot of opportunities out there.
So where are we coming up with the 1102? Is that an administrative thing?
It's on our resolution for pay scale. Basically, it's in the second page where it says
anything else, because we don't really have a category for this, so I picked that number.
Okay.
And when we review it, we can determine if we want to change that later or not, or we can change that now, but that's where the number came from with our resolution.
Do we think somebody would be interested in this position, or are we going to be coming back looking at,
I don't have the position ready for advertisement. I wanted to get a consensus or a feel of the board, and then I'll have to write up for OPC and then also for the part-time positions. If the board approves this, I would imagine that would give Bruce the authority to go ahead and hire the person.
so this would be a motion for a 1-year period with a report to the board regarding registrants.
That paragraph is going to be included in the employee agreement so that they're fully aware it's temporary and they do have to report to the board, so that we can understand what they've done and how they put it forward.
So we're looking at it at 6 months, or at 10 months, or a year? I'm not.
There's 3 steps for the employee. We're going to give her some time to kind of work this out. So she's going to report at 6 months, including activities, growth, and fund balance, and then she's going to report again at 9 months. And then at 10 months, I think the board's going to have to decide what they want to do for the following year, and that will give us 2 months to come up with that decision. So we'll review the entire project in a year.
Wow, I like it. I think it's a good idea.
Was that a motion?
I'll make it a
She
motion.
started.
I started it. but I'm not sure all of what I said in that motion.
I think your motion was the part that's right underneath funding summary.
To move forward on this.
Okay.
The last paragraph, right, pretty much summarizes it.
I think we just need to put in from what account.
Well, that would be account 101.103.884.002.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll support.
And we have a second. Any further discussion from the board? We're not hearing any. Do we have a roll call on that, please?
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Eric Sen.
Yes.
John Beamer.
Nay.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ray Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes. That so passes. We'll go on to item number 6 now, resolution adopting the L4129 establishing rates for the special assessment districts for 2016. Before you will be the proposed tax rates levy for 2016. We also list the SADs for the record. Maybe you should. Anybody have any comments on this?
I would just like to note, just so everybody's on the same page, we're going to be adopting the L4029 that's date stamped today's date, August 15th.
Would you like me to read the amounts on every category? Is everybody happy? Right?
I'm good.
Good?
This is where I had those crazy documents. I'm fine with the millage, but this is where I had the Mercy's dad.
The what now?
Maybe that was something that just came out in a copier at work wrong. It's called Mercy's Dad Club, so I'm taking it, well, it looks on the faces that
Nobody else had that.
somebody else didn't get their thing at work there, so. Very good.
You're
Thank
scaring
you.
me, John, you're scaring me.
No, that's where it came from, and it didn't make any sense to me.
That was a quiz from that.
Okay, is there a motion in order to, that establishes the millage rates for the special assessment district? Pardon?
Ed's making that motion, I think.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and make that motion.
I'll support.
Any further discussion? Not hearing any, do we have a roll call, please?
John Beamer.
Aye.
Eric Sen.
Yes.
Ed Brightfield.
Yes.
Linda Garrett.
Yes.
Ray Fisher.
Yes.
Bennett, yes. Supervisor Pearson.
Yes, and that passes. Okay, we're on to public forum. If you have anything, please come forward up to the podium and state your name. Oh, I have 2 things on those SADs. Oh, you want to read those now, or?
We can just
I just had,
read the names. And
yeah, I had a Mary Ann Orginski, Jesse, Orkinson. at 2880 Indian Lake Road. And she didn't want to financially support the special assessment because she has non-repairing rights, but that's on everybody's deed. We can't do anything about that, but they did want us to note that. And then I did have another opposition to the weed treatment, which was a letter stating that they didn't agree with the chemicals, Michael and Patricia McPherson at 81 Lakeview Drive. But we don't have anything to do with that either, because once the SAD is established, you have another board that determines all of what you're going to do with the lake. So, but I did want to say that I did receive both of those. Okay, now we're in the public forum. If you want to come up to the podium, we're here to listen. This is where we listen.
I have to apologize first. I was trying to listen. Obviously, I not only need new glasses, I need new ears. And I couldn't hear, but I was wondering, you were talking about more entertainment for the seniors and also for the children. I know someone on this board recommended at one time when you were doing paving on the road, why don't you put in a bicycle path? Because that would be for the seniors and the kids. They could get into the library and get to the township meetings, and they wouldn't get run over on the road. And you could take the money out of your block grants. You get block grants every year that are generally going to waste, that aren't being used. You could make a bicycle path. And that was one of the things that I wanted to mention. The second thing, I still question whether this board has the authority, which I will pursue further, but I'm not going to say anything at this time because I can be wrong. I was wrong about the annual meeting. I checked with the police. They said that there is such a law that you can vote the annual meeting out of existence. And going back to my state separate senators and the state representatives and try to get that law rescinded because I think it's wrong. It interferes with citizen participation and for transparency of the government. And I think that that's one of the big problems in this township. There's no transparency of the government anymore. People held a private meeting, a closed meeting, in order to get this building built. You took it and made it on a Wednesday, a special meeting. Now, you don't have to tell me all about that. I know it. I was a supervisor for 16 years. I know how to do that. All they have to do is get the clerk and post it at 8 o'clock in the morning. And by after 18 hours, it's ready for a meeting, and there's no advertising. Nobody gets picked unless they come at night to look at the board, would even know what happened. It's strictly being a shyster way of doing it. But it is legal. That's all that I can say about it. I've got some other things that I would like to bring up at this time. I'd like to know who did the arithmetic on the budget. There's a budget item here. It's the longevity, 15% longevity, and person is sick claiming $33,700 a year. And if you take the 15%, it works out someplace close to around $6,000. And you've got $10,400. So it's about $500 or $600 too much. Also, I see a person is charging $14,000 for senior for health care. Health care he already gets from his retirement from the state sheriff's department. And that means I've talked to the state police about it. They claim that it's fraud. I've talked to the Oakland County prosecuting attorney. He said that he doesn't know whether it's legal or not, but he knows damn well that it's not proper to be doing that. It's double dipping no matter what you do. He's charging this township $14,000 a year for something they already get from his retirement from the sheriff's department. So that puts just about $25,000 a year. He's giving himself a raise by not being truthful. I think that he's been that way. He's all the time I've known him. He's been much more crook than he has been cop. I think that You people have to remember
Mr. Koski,
that you all took an oath
You get
to
3
do what's
minutes.
best for the township.
Mr. Koski, you get 3 minutes, okay? We can't go on and on.
Now, I'm not going to, I realize that, and I'm getting about done.
Okay.
You people have all taken an oath to do what's best for the township, not what's best for Pearson. That's the same thing with the German army. They pledged to do what's best for Germany and not for Hitler. And that's the same thing here. You are doing what's best for the township, not what's best for Pearson. I would think you should remember that. And we'll keep trying to push for a new annual meeting. That's one thing I think I can get for sure, I'll get through. Because everyone's talking about more transparency, and that's a big one in it. Thank you.
Anybody else on public forum? Anybody else on?
Can I just say that those numbers that were said, that's for your department, it's not for one individual. So the numbers are correct.
Well, number one, I don't take medical benefits from Addison Township. I save the township money by not taking those. Number two, I don't receive a pension. I have an IRA. And I don't know what else I was accused of, but someone who was in office that long would know that, first of all, that's a total budget for the whole department. It doesn't go in my pocket. The longevity, everybody gets, and that's determined by the treasurer. So it has nothing to do with me. Anybody else have anything on public forum?
Yeah, the fire department golf outing is actually the 28th of August. I'd like to see if anybody participate. The signs up there on the library, they were so nice to put that up there. So participation is very welcome. Thank you.
And I do show up on that, and Eric is my golf partner, so it's what, $75 per
$35 per person, yeah. And it's at the Myth. Unfortunately, we went out of town this year because they have a banquet area, so we did go out of town.
Okay, Rochester, Stony Creek, right?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else have anything else? Yes?
I'd just like to say thank you for all the things that you've done for the community.
Thank you very much. I do try.
She's just saying it because he won the election.
No, I was president of Friends of the Library, and Bruce helped us in so many different ways, with the library and with Friends of the Library.
Well,
I'm talking for myself, not for my
I
husband.
have a son, and I do it for my son as well as all the other kids here. The greatest gift you can do is to give back to the community. I had a wonderful career at the sheriff's office, and a wonderful career, and I had the opportunity. I'm young enough, this is my time to give back, and I'm trying to give back as much as I can. And everyone knows this is the best part-time 80-hour-a-week job. And I'm so grateful to this board. This board was the most fantastic board that any township could have. They were so progressive over the last 8 years. It's not me, it's this board. The board they stepped up to the plate, and Addison Township is talked about now, and all the other township boards around, that we have really progressed tremendously since 8 years ago. So I think that's a big plus. And when the other people are talking about us, I think that these guys should have a pat on the back for what they did the last 8 years. So.
Well, I was talking about you personally.
Well, it's a group effort. It's a group effort, but I thank you. Okay, we'll move on. If there's no other public forum, Addison Township Board reports. Don't have any?
No meetings.
No? Okay. Legal reports, not here. Communications. Supervisor's report, I just want to say the roads are much better than they have been. The chloriding of all of the roads has really made a difference. We did have a lot of rain, there was a lot of washouts, but it would have been a lot worse without the roads being all bound together. So we made a big improvement there. We had a great strawberry festival, and I'd like to thank all the citizens who came out to vote on the August primary. Thank you for voting. And at this time, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you very much.